Okay, I'm going to call this public hearing and regular meeting of May 20th, 2021 at 7:00 PM of the Deep River Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Start with a roll call. Chris DeRozier, I know he's not coming. I spoke with him earlier. Bruce Edgerton,
Here.
Jonathan Kastner. I didn't see him sign in. Alan Parody,
Here.
Stan Reinheimer,
Here.
Marion Stay,
Here.
and Christy Stroud.
Here.
So I'm gonna seat Marion in the vacant seat, and I'll seat Stan for Chris. So you guys are all on board. Let's see. Still letting people in here. I was gonna kind of. We're on to number 3, acceptance of applications. The first one up is zoning text amendment application, self-storage facilities in the Turnpike Industrial District. Applicant 488 and 500 Main LLC. And this is just for receipt to set a public hearing for next month. Is there anybody here who's got anything to say about this, or this little blurb? All right, hearing none. John, I'm gonna pick
Tony, we're losing you. I'm losing your audio.
Yeah.
Is this, is the application complete, ready to go?
Tony, you're breaking up a little bit. Was that a question for John?
Yep, all right, is that better or no?
Yeah, I can
Can
hear
you
you.
hear
You have
me?
a question for me, Tony?
I did, sorry about that. It looks like I cut out. I was just making sure the application for 448 500 is complete.
Yeah, it's sufficient. You can accept.
Okay. All right, so looking for a motion to accept and set a public hearing for, of course, I don't have the date in front of me. Let's see.
I'll make a motion that we accept it and have a public hearing at our next scheduled date for a regular meeting.
I'll second that one.
Thank you. Second by Alan. Stan
Yes.
and Marion,
Yes.
Christy.
Yes.
Date looks like it is June 17th, just for everybody's edification.
Yep.
Moving on to item B, special permit application, non-agricultural related uses, 574 Winthrop Road. Applicant is Spruce Ledge Enterprises LLC. Is somebody here to give a quick update on that? All right. John, I'm going to
Tony.
pick on you one more time.
Yeah, so the one thing I'd note, this application is complete. However, they did not submit a fee. They are requesting, I think in the file, they requested a fee waiver.
Yep.
On the grounds that the special events that they're hoping to hold on the farm, Spruce Ledge Farm,
Mhm.
would also not charge. So they're, I guess, asking you guys to pay it forward and not charge them for their application.
All right.
So that's something you might want to decide before you schedule the hearing.
All right. You guys all heard John. How do you feel about no fee?
Wow.
I think it's a bad precedent to set.
All right. Anybody else?
I guess I agree.
What's
Okay.
the fee?
John, do you know the fee?
The fee would be about, I think 260 or 310. I can't recall.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Tony, under this application, I was a little bit confused as to the specific of the application. It sounds like they're requesting approval of a use. It'd be good to get clarification whether this was an application for a event use under activities or agritourism under the 7B31 section of our regulations, because it does have specific stipulations as well. But based on the application, it appears to be asking for approval of really an event venue use. And it's not clear that that is kind of a subordinate use to the agricultural use. I think that this application requires some clarification, as well as there's a diagram in here, which I guess is submitted in lieu of a site plan to show, compliance with requirements for that type of use, showing structures and the parking, et cetera. But I think in order for the commission to really understand this application, it would require a site plan to show the capacity of the parking there, and clarification of the number of participants, the number of events. Again, our regulations limit the number of events that are permitted under agritourism it limits it to 8 events, whereas already published on their calendar, I think there's at least 15 events that are advertised through the month of June. So I'm a little concerned with the application that it's not clear what the actual requested use is and under what portion of our regulations.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Alan.
Yeah,
Yeah, so did I.
all right. So,
We could ask the applicant to provide a more full narrative.
yeah,
That's what you're looking for.
And even the map, if it could be a simple map, but some idea of scale, some idea of how many parking spaces are there, where the event is going to be, is it in back? Is it near the road? Something a little bit more detailed.
Yeah, I think in our regulations, the only thing that we can be considering is a subordinate activity under the activities and agritourism section of the regulations. Otherwise, it's not a permitted use in that zone. And as such, it does require demonstration that that those additional activities are not going to impact traffic patterns or patterns of use within the overall zone, which is a very low density residential zone. I think it's an interesting proposition, but at the same time, it's this application isn't in alignment with the regulations or use that's specifically allowed within that zone.
So I'll work with your permission, if you want to still accept it, I'll work with them to submit more detailed, both written and cartographic plans for what they're proposing to do.
guys.
I mean, I think that would be great if we can work with them and figure out a way to do it. People really enjoyed it last year. And I don't think we got any complaints I never heard anyone complain about the concerts from the neighbors. And I live that way.
I'm going to throw one other thing at you, John, since you're making a list. The parking that's off to the far left on their sketch. I know that's on Route 80, so they just careful that they can access that without a second curb cut, because then they would trigger DOT.
Okay, I can do that. Okay.
I'm all right with that if you guys are.
So John, I would hope that you would have them address all of the general requirements under the regulations in 7B31, which addresses the parcel size, again being 5 net buildable acres, the frontage, neighboring premises, traffic, parking, all of these things are need to be clarified in the application.
Yep, you got it.
Thank you.
All right, so Motion to accept.
So moved.
All right.
I'll make the motion, Tony.
Who was that? Sorry, Stan?
I'll second it then.
Okay, Stan, second. Marion made. Bruce?
Bruce, you
I'll
muted.
vote you, Bruce.
Yeah, sorry, I still had it muted.
worries.
Yes,
Alan
Yes.
and Christie?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. All right, C, modification of existing permit, 439A Main Street to allow outdoor dining entertainment. Applicant Robert Galbraith. Is anybody here?
Yeah, Robert's here.
Okay. You just want to give us a quick, go over what you're looking
We'd like to,
for, and
I'm sorry?
we're just looking for something quick because it's just to set a public hearing. You don't
Yeah,
have
we
do the
want
whole
to,
application, but-
Get permission to do live entertainment in the back area
Mhm.
with an agreed upon decibel level, and all the music would be facing towards the train tracks.
Anybody have any quick questions? If not, looking for a motion to accept and set a public hearing for June 17th.
Is there anything a little, oh, am I muted? No.
Nope, you're not muted.
Is there anything a little bit more specific on the decibel level? I'm not an expert and don't pretend to be. But it'd be nice to have something to start with. Just an
Well,
agreed
I
upon
mean-
level, who's agreeing upon it.
Well, it would be, I guess, up if you wanted to come out and we could, normally you're looking at between 85 and 90 would be a typical volume. But it's all subjective to who's there. When I did music downtown at the Patacock, we ran about 85, 90 decibels at the street level. So that's pretty much the norm. A regular conversation on our patio was like 70 decibels. So that's, if that's a concern, we are open to, coming down and with a decibel meter to come up with an agreeable level if that is an issue.
I know that, can we talk? I don't know.
Sorry, I thought somebody was chiming in. All right, so if,
Well, Tony, I got a
no, go ahead.
couple questions and clarifications if I could.
Me.
Personally, I think that it's kind of an appropriate application, what you requested as far as the outdoor seating and the music is certainly appropriate to the existing and presently permitted use. But I'm not sure that it's without some other considerations. Currently, I think you're operating under an existing special permit that had some stipulations and conditions on it, inclusive of the total occupancy of the present of the business, and that drove kind of the parking requirement, et cetera. There were other things that were requested of the prior applicant, including some barriers, fences, and plantings, which I think were put in place. But with the music and expanded outdoor seating, those items might be revisited, because there certainly was comment from the public, a prior neighbor, in regard to that. And so I would also ask for clarification that these are the only changes to the existing special permit that are occurring on the property. It's my understanding, it wasn't evident in the photos, but that there's an additional structure provided for preparing food. So there's additional ground coverage and expanded facilities. I would ask that this application address all of the changes to the existing special permit, so that we don't have any lingering open issues. But again, I think that this is the right direction. I think it's something that's going to be supported. But there is a history with this property in this use, and there was some prior opposition to the tavern going in. So expansion of that activity, I think will.
Yeah, my understanding was that the one residential house, the gentleman that objected regularly no longer lives there.
Mhm.
So I think that's an issue that has kind of gone away.
Right. And I think you're probably right. I just want to, as a commissioner, I want to make sure that you're aware of those potential issues. And I'd like to see this go forward, but I want to make sure that it goes forward without any stumbling blocks. We had a couple of misunderstandings in the previous application, which caused some frustration to the prior applicant. And I just want to make sure that we're in full understanding of what the operation will be. By the way, I think it looks great down there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can get updated pictures of the way it looks now, because these were the original ones. So I can get that all together with the trailer back there and the commercial kitchen that we have. That would be more updated photos.
I have one other question. So there is no, I mean, this is existing stuff. This is all gone through wetlands because I know there was wetlands back there. They're all over this and have approved it and everything. I mean, there's no
Yes.
change, right?
I'm sorry?
There's no change in what you're doing. It's just, you're just adding a band and that's it.
Yeah, everything that a wetlands is approved is what's back there.
Okay.
There is a fence that is up on blocking the property line to the one residential house that's over there. But otherwise, no, the only thing is the entertainment.
Okay.
Because the initial application was for the liquor license for entertainment. And they said that they wouldn't sign that until we went through this process.
Anybody other questions? If not, looking for that motion, set that public hearing.
Tony, I'd make a motion to set a hearing for this application.
All
I'll
right.
second that.
Thank you, Christie. Bruce,
Yes,
Jonathan, I saw you jump in.
Yes.
Stan
Yes.
and Marion.
Yes.
All right, moving on. You guys will be back on June 17th. Special permit application, animal facilities and retail business with accessory food service, 112 West Elm Street, applicant K&A Pickers. Let me throw that up on the screen. All right, anybody here wants to give a quick and dirty about what's going on? And then if not, we'll just set the public hearing.
We're working. We're working very hard. What do you want to know?
If you just give us a quick recap and then we'll just so it's on the record and we'll set the public hearing for like I said, June 17th.
Recap is for the building. Obviously, we've already done that for the thrift shop and the animal rescue rehabilitation facility, and a little the cafe down below, which is just tea and coffee and lemonade and water. Yep, that's pretty much it. And Jean has done all of the site work for us from Revita. Mhm.
All right. Anybody have any questions? If not, looking for that motion to set the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Bruce.
Second.
Oh, Christie, you're on a second. All right, Jonathan,
Aye.
Alan,
Yes.
Stan,
Yes.
and Marion.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on. I'll see you guys on June 17th. Public
you.
hearing, zoning text amendment application, section 410-2A, two family residents in a general commercial district. Applicant Kevin Teskey, 61 Main Street, Deep River. We discussed this at length with him. I think if he wants to just jump on real quick. If you guys have any questions, I did see him show up.
Yeah, I'm here. I don't think there's much to go over, though, I assume.
Right.
And
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Chairman,
Yep.
just a note in the OneDrive file, we have proof of public notification of this public hearing, just so we have that on the record.
Do, and I didn't grab it for space. Let's see.
It's okay, but just, it's in the record. We did notice this in the paper twice.
All right. Anybody have any other questions or comments? If not, I'll looking for a motion to close the public hearing.
I so moved, Bruce.
Bruce, thank you.
Second,
I'll
Jonathan.
second, Stan.
Stan seconded. All right. Jonathan,
Aye.
Alan,
Yes.
and Marion,
Yes,
and Christie.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. And what I don't see is this list was formatted a little incorrectly. So I guess what I need here is somebody to make a motion to amend the agenda for tonight, because we don't have a place to vote for that. I mean, I guess we could vote now because the public hearing's closed, but any discussion, I'm just gonna play it that way, on the zoning text amendment from the commission.
Do we have the specific text, Tony?
Tony, it's part of the application document itself. There is a
Oh, now you're cutting out.
yeah, if you scroll down to the second or third page of that document,
That's all I got for that.
is that only a one-page document?
Yeah.
Yeah, because, John, I looked at this, I saw that there were some alternatives offered up, but the specific language to be incorporated into the,
Right, there was a table, a proposed table.
Quickly, I think the last, so here's the minutes that we haven't approved yet. The commission members and Mr. Teskey were in agreement with the suggestion to add a two-family to the general commercial district. Teskey agreed that the application would be under section 410-2, two-family dwelling as a special permit use in the general commercial district. So I think it was just to amend the zoning.
if we're gonna act on the actual language, and we have to have the language, available.
Yeah, that's what I was reading. So it was to, now I lost my place again, to add two-family dwelling units to the general commercial district as a special permit, which is the way we directed them last time.
Well, as John said before, we have a table that has the added
Right.
language to it.
Can we table this item, until we can pull up that actual, document?
Yeah, I'll search for it. And if you want to bump this.
Tony, I have it, if you want to let me share my screen.
Yep,
Yeah,
that
please.
would be sufficient.
All this good stuff. Let's see, participants. Where did you go, John? You are the host.
All right, can you see this, everyone?
There you go.
Yes.
So this is in the OneDrive. This, where the heck is it?
Yeah, that's what I said.
I saw a two-page document, which was the application and then the original alternates, but not the text. And I know we spoke about it, but I think we have to have it in the meeting for record.
Yeah, I understand that. All right, I'm sorry. Let me.
You don't give me, I was gonna say, if,
I have it ready in my email if you need me to send it to somebody really quick or something.
yeah. if
Tony,
you
I think
send
it's
it-
probably also, it's probably in Teams too.
I was gonna say, it's also probably in the older data. I know where it is. Older meetings. Minutes.
All right,
Could you, Kevin, could you send it to me? It's, quickly, it's my name, Tony Baldock at Gmail.
Yep. Go ahead.
I'll see if I can get that up. 'Cause I don't see it in here either.
Just your name at gmail.com.
Yep. I'll hit refresh a whole bunch of times. That'll help.
Yes.
Hold on, I think I got it.
no,
It's upside down.
Tony, I sent you the wrong thing. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, I just sent it off, so hopefully you got that one. Mine's just my name 17 at gmail.com. If you got it from there.
I got nothing.
So TonyBolduc, one word, right? At gmail.com.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So then it must be coming because I got it right.
All right, well, how about this? Instead of holding everyone up, I will come back to this. I'm just gonna jump ahead. For audience of citizens, if there's anybody here who wants to address the commission for anything that's not listed on the agenda.
I would like to. I have a similar case to Kevin Teskey.
Mhm.
For Village Residential Zone.
Oh, you're next, you're a little farther down on the list.
Oh, okay.
Yep, you're on here.
All right, awesome. I didn't even know I was on there. I thought I was just hopping in.
No,
All right.
you got two more things ahead of you.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Tony, I just
Absolutely.
sent you
All right.
a copy also.
Okay. There we go. Everybody see that?
I see it.
There we go. How about that?
That's,
Oh,
All right.
So
All right,
just
so-
to clarify, the text amendment that we are approving are the two items in red there, which lists two-family residents under 410.2 and allows it by special permit in the general commercial district. Is that a
Correct.
good summary?
Is that the
Two
motion you're
items in
making?
red.
Is that the motion you're making?
That is the motion to accept the text amendment as shown in red on the screen.
second,
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Alan. Jonathan,
yes.
Stan,
Yes.
Marion,
Yes.
and Christie.
Yes.
Hey, Tony,
Fantastic. Yep.
I should abstain from that.
You weren't here last time?
I was here last time.
He abstained last time as
Okay.
well.
Yeah,
All right, so you're.
just for transparency's sake.
Nope, I get it. Let me just jot that down or I'll never remember. All right. Okay. So that looks like that passed. I'm just gonna jump back to audience of citizens. Again, if there's anybody. I didn't think there would be, but gotta give you your time. All right. With that being said, on to 6, approval of minutes. Everybody read the minutes?
Indeed.
If you have any issues, let me know. If not, looking for motion to approve.
Tony, I would move to approve the minutes from last April.
Thank you, Ellen. Look for a second.
I'll second, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan. Bruce,
Yes.
Stan,
Yes.
Marion?
Yes.
Yes,
All right, and Christie.
I'm gonna abstain. I wasn't there.
Thank you for clarifying. Christie. All right, item 7A, the Gateway Commission Regulation Memo. Let's see if I can get this here.
Well written.
So yeah, hopefully people saw that. Hopefully I didn't put that in the wrong place.
Does it really require an act of Congress?
Well, yeah, if you wanted to change the boundary of the gateway area, yes, it is basically like a survey or a deed record, you know, hence easterly, hence southerly along this street. It is in statute that way.
Mhm.
That's why they're so hesitant to change it.
And but I did talk to Torrance, and he said he would be happy to talk with the commission upon receipt of this memo about these certain circumstances, and he recognizes that southerly portion of Deep River is one of those that it's not really super applicable.
All right, you guys are good with this?
Yes.
I think it's well,
Mhm.
John, we don't need a vote, do we? I mean, we're just,
No, if you have consensus that you can sign it, then we can proceed.
you guys are all good with that.
Yep.
yep.
Yeah, looks good.
Thanks, guys. Okay, in formal discussion, multifamily use in a village resident. Oh, did he disappear?
Where did he go?
Oh,
Ashton.
here I am. Super lag.
There you are.
Hi.
You're up.
Yeah, so I had a similar case to Kevin Tetsky. I wanted to see what the process was or how it would work to do a permanent amendment to zoning to lift the restrictions for a multifamily resident. And there's multiple multifamilies in the area as well within village residential zone.
So you just, are you just looking for the process itself?
I would like the restriction lifted, if that was possible. If I can just get straight to there.
All right, so just quickly, I mean, the process is you'd reach out to John or Mike, which are both our zoning enforcement officers, and draft a text amendment like you've seen a couple of times here tonight. We'd accept it, set a public hearing, because it is a regulation change, and we would, the public would have input at the following meeting. And if everyone was in agreement, that's pretty much it. And then would be, we close the public hearing and, vote on whether or not, how the public, we always take into consideration the public's input, but that's pretty much the process.
All right, so John and Mike is located within the town hall in Deep River, Main Street. Okay, so they're the ones that sent me to the Zoom meeting.
Okay,
Right. So I think we just wanted to, introduce the idea and get a sense if the commission had strong feelings one way or the other to sort of advise the potential applicant.
Yeah, since there already are multifamilies within the area. It
When
actually
you say,
multifamily.
when you say multifamily, can you be a little bit more specific? Is it a two-family residence? Is it an accessory apartment? Is it going, in your vision, is it going to be, um, a multifamily apartment building?
Yeah, so it is a multifamily apartment building. It's a 4-family, and there's about 10 other ones that are two families in the area.
Okay, so you're proposing a 4-unit building?
Yeah, because it's
Is
already
is it a
already
new building, existing building?
existing building was
So
built.
you have an existing use, so you're not proposing to change the use, correct?
I would like to uplift that ban because I would like to live within a basement that meets the qualifications of the building already, of the 4-family building.
What's the address of that building?
10 High Street.
Oh, Mrs. Kirkus.
I know what you're talking
So, and there's already a restriction on there saying that there can't be multifamily residents in
Right.
village residential zone, and it's already a multifamily resident.
about.
But, so you're proposing, you'd like to increase the number of units within that building? Because if you have a pre-existing condition, you can continue that use.
Okay, and I can start working on the basement without any issues.
What, yes, I mean, so you're gonna need, I kind of know the property. So you do need the building inspector to go out there, and
Okay. So I don't need to lift this restriction. I just need to go straight to getting the building inspected.
I believe so, but because that's, I mean, it's an existing.
I think he needs a zoning permit prior to getting a building permit.
Right, that's what I was told.
Okay, but you said it was existing.
It is existing, but I
Yeah.
want to habitate the basement myself, and I don't
Alright.
want because of the restriction.
Oh,
So you're gonna add one living space?
there you go.
Yes, for myself.
So it would go from 4 units to 5 units?
It would.
Okay,
Okay, well, so there's the thing.
that's what I was missing.
Okay.
Well, everybody's thinking now.
Right, so
Well-
that would be an expansion of a non-conforming use. And
Right.
so the approach would be to
Go to ZBA.
make the use conforming by a text change of the regulations.
Yes, I like that expansion, non-conforming use.
So I'm gonna go off on a little bit of a tangent here. So I agree, we definitely need multifamily in town. It hasn't been in the regulations. You just saw the guy before you do that. But to change the entire zone, if you saw the map that he was on, it was like 3 houses that's changing his use was literally only affected like 3 houses. For the village district is pretty big. So again, I think I would be all right with that, but it's gonna have to go to a public hearing and you may get a lot of pushback because it's such a big area. But again, I don't know everything clearly. So, and the rest of the commission may say, hey, Tony's crazy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So that's my feelings. Anybody else?
So I agree. I think it's a pretty significant change in the regulations, change the pattern of use. I think it's worth some discussion. But it has a broader implication on a significant area within Deep River. So we need to go back and understand the reasons for the allowed uses and then the restricted uses in there. And I think that would be the basis of the discussion.
Yeah. I agree.
Mhm.
Anybody else?
I think it's difficult in a way because Deep River has always traditionally had a lot of different type of housing. Uh, But this is a significant change.
Yeah, that's what I'm
How
saying.
many people will be jumping on the bandwagon to do it? I don't know.
Yeah, and again, Marion, I think you bring up a good point. I mean, what happened in a lot of these towns is you had a lot of mixed use prior to zoning. And then zoning was applied to kind of regulate the use and conserve the, you know, the a planned pattern of growth. And so we do have a significant number of non-conforming uses that are perfectly valid to continue, but there is a kind of a planned development for each of these zones that that the town has been operating under for quite some time now. So I think there'll be some implications on the pattern of use within this zone that really needs to be studied.
Right, so do you, I mean, how do you want to direct this? I guess like, looking for direction from us.
So, Tony, it's
Mhm.
Jonathan. That house has been multi
Yeah,
forever. It's currently 4 units. But it's pre-existing non-conforming.
Mhm.
So if we were to, however it gets done, approve a 5th unit, we can't do that, can we?
It's expanding the use.
It's
Expanding a non-conforming use? So we do have to make a zoning change. I'm just trying to catch up here.
I got another approach to this. So instead of changing the whole zone, is this something that could go to, I mean, it's a use, excuse me. It is a use in our regulations. Can he go to ZBA and get that approved through them?
I think traditionally that's where people went. Although also traditionally in the zoning regs, typically you say, you know, you can't do a use permit by going to ZBA.
Right.
But I know exactly what you're thinking of because I thought the same thing. It's telling someone for one particular property to go against the regulations.
Right, because it's one property that's already non-conforming and it's already.
Exactly. And again, you know, in that area, especially with Pratt Reed, I mean, we had boarding houses.
And
at
still
one
do.
time.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like being sympathetic to the use, like we were sympathetic for the 2, but the regulations just make it difficult for us to, because again, you're dealing with one person versus the entire zone, and that's the crux of the problem.
So I can think, well, we got this list that you sent of the number of multifamilies around town. And I can think of a few
Yeah, I got
that are
7.
that are, I assume, in the same category as 10 High Street. They're pre-existing. So
And it's a topic that obviously is, you know, on everybody's mind right now in terms of affordable housing.
Right.
And different types of housing.
I don't know if this helps jog your guys' thinking, but it looks like it was already inhabited before. It looked like it was finished up. It just needs some more work in order to catch up to the time.
with or without following the procedure, we may never know that.
Okay.
Is there a way of researching whether or not the assessor how many units the assessor had. And possibility of a year tied to that.
Sure.
To see whether it was non-conforming.
The old field cards are down in the selectman's vault in the basement.
Research with the assessor
Correct. To see,
at a specific time.
I think the assessors would direct you to the space downstairs.
So I think
it
we
would
could
have to exist prior to 72, I would think. Because that's when the zoning regs came into effect.
Yeah, the house is dated 1800.
Right.
I think what we need to do is look at the condition of this house at the point in time that that village district was established. And I think we need to take this seriously in that the village district was established based on the plan of conservation and development and directed by, initiatives within the town. I'm very hesitant to act and change our regulations contrary to the direction that's established by our plan of conservation and development. I can be empathetic, but we need to recognize the fact that this is a non-conforming use. And as soon as we begin to look at workarounds to expand an existing non-conforming use, we establish that precedent for all non-conforming uses in town. So I am empathetic, but I think that this is going to be, in my opinion, a difficult path to take.
Well, the ZBA, as I understand it, cannot vary a use.
Right,
That's correct.
They can approve
you're right.
something that's too close to the property line or things like that.
Books here. Glad you guys can't see my desk.
As much as we don't want to look at changing the language, times have changed.
Agreed.
And it's a much bigger need and a push now for multifamily dwellings, that maybe we need to look at making multifamily dwellings in that district appropriate.
I was just about to see when we removed it.
Yeah, especially if you're dealing with a basement apartment or basement unit, living unit. There are code issues there besides zoning that,
Of course, they would have to meet that anyway.
right.
And the criteria that was mentioned at the town hall seemed like they met them. It met them for inspections. As far as like, there's a window, there's an egress, there's a walk-in basement, a walk-in door into the basement. The bathroom.
Certainly building and fire, I guess, would have to approve that, whatever order we did it in. Yeah, this gets naughty because, not naughty, but naughty.
Fine, I got it.
This is, there's so many occurrences. It's going to be hard to put them all under the same tent.
Right. But again, I think going back to respond to Bruce's point that yes, we do need to be looking at new types of residences, but I think that's what the village district actually established. And it was toward a pattern of mixing use of commercial with residential above. So we need to be clear on what was established and has been in place for, I believe, what, seven years now?
At least more than that.
Or modifying, because I think that it was a very deliberate plan, driven by the pattern of use in small towns and preserving that character, but allowing a new model for residences in the, in the village district. So,
Give me 30 seconds. I may have a little something,
little something.
a little something. I just got to make sure I'm in the right spot here.
Hey, there's a zoning map.
All right, let's see here. Let's see. High Street, going down my road, High Street. Okay. So his property, I believe this is the one on the corner, which is the bank.
That's the bank. It's the next one.
So this little green guy here,
Yeah.
okay? And this house across the street is that
Back,
big
back.
one with the apartment above the garage. So if he took this light pink, which is village, now that I lost the map, which is village mixed use, and expanded the zone to these two properties here and here, then it would be allowed by special permit to have multifamily.
Oh,
Both of those are already multifamily,
and they abut.
and they abut.
And
Wow.
there's also
What-
on the corner next to the elementary school.
So maybe that is an option, is to look at rezoning that little area.
Like you're thinking there, Tony.
I try.
So the simpler thing then would be, since they already abut that other
Village
zone, would be for us to just include them.
Was the multifamily 4 units? Wasn't that the max, or what is that in the read in the regs?
It just says multi,
Yeah, but I thought there was a limit on them.
multifamily residence, note 1.
Yeah, I don't think it's a limitation on a multifamily. It's just if it's non-conforming, it'd be expansion of a non-conforming use to go to 5.
Oh,
So
there
the-
is something.
I'm just doing this on the fly, so, but that may be the route. See if we can find in our definitions, multifamily. There is no definition for multifamily that I see. We'll check the village mixed use to see if there's anything in there. Districts.
Yeah. To the best of my recollection, I don't think we have density standards there.
I don't think we do either, but I'm just trying to do a little due diligence. I don't think we do, and I don't see it in here.
Yeah. Something comes to mind that it was more than 2, though.
Hold on. I lied to you. So it would be 2 changes. You'd have to get the zone changed. And if you go to 7A 513 special standards, uses in the village district. Multifamily residence, a maximum of 4 units. Units
Yeah.
must average no more than 1.5 bedrooms, with studio units counting as 1 bedroom. Lot must front on Main Street in the mixed use district, residential use prohibited on the ground floor. I'm sorry, that's for the village district. I need village mixed use.
So did you just shoot yourself down, Tony? Or did I misunderstand?
I think I did.
Yeah, look in them.
Yeah, I think I did. So it would be, you'd have to change the zone and change, revise that regulation. So that's a little bit of legwork. But if people are okay with that. Whole area,
I think it's worth it for the town.
anybody else have feelings on this?
I'm looking at the pictures of the house, one really cool house. but it doesn't even really look like a basement. It looks like the bottom level from the back.
Right, the back's a walkout.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't go below that.
Right.
So to me, it looks like that should have always been a place. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't look like it was ever a basement that now we're switching. It looks like it should have always been a level of the house.
It looked like it was a place. It looked like it was an apartment prior to 1972. There's wallpaper, sheetrock in there. It just needs some fixing up.
I mean, I have that approach if everybody's, I think that's all right for a little small area there.
But do we, on the multifamily, do we increase that then, or how does that work? You have
That
to
I-
increase the regs and,
The multifamily residence is only it just says the village district, not the village mixed use district. And I was gonna flip over to dwelling. In a multifamily dwelling under definitions, because it was worded under dwelling multifamily, any group of 3 or more dwelling units in one or more buildings or a single lot. It gives no restriction under the definitions. And the only restriction I do see is in the village, not the village mixed use.
gotcha. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Oh, and somebody even threw in here, even just in case, variances in accordance with section 8.6 of Connecticut General Statute is hereby specified that no variance granted in the zoning board of appeals from the requirements established under section 785. Oh, that's still, I'm sorry, that's still village, not village multi-use. Okay. I would let John research this a little more, just as I just did this on the fly. But I think that may work.
Okay, we can. So, Ashton, I'd ask you to circle back with Mike and myself next week. Mike is in on Mondays, I'm in on Wednesdays, but we can communicate via the email address, the zoning at deepriverct.us.
Let me just give me a second to write your name down. And Mike, what's your email, John?
It's just zoning, ZONING, at deepriverct.us.
Okay, so just message that. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we both get that. I think I sent you the agenda today from that address, or yesterday from that address.
Yes, you did. Yeah, I got it. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Right.
So Jonathan here, would it be of use to do some research on the what is that, on the old field cards?
I think so. It strengthens the case.
Well, I was wondering if I could talk to Selectman into assigning me that job, because
He might have his ear. I think you can get him to do that.
I just don't know what, those things are always fascinating, but whether they'll have any positive effect on this, I don't know.
And they may be by property owner.
Right.
They're gonna be, right, it's 1935 and before is not by address.
Hmm.
However, we have some resources. We have Don Malcarney's
Right.
So
100,
quickly,
400 old house histories.
And I believe we do have that. I think that address was one that he researched.
I'm sure of it.
So just quickly, this place has only been owned by 3 different people since 1971. So this one shouldn't be too easy or too hard. Going back one more. You see my screen, Jonathan?
Yeah, as old as I am, it was always Mrs. Kirkus. And that goes back a few years. So I'm probably just a couple owners.
Okay. All right, I think we got a resolution there. Everybody's good. All right, moving on to old business. Commission bylaws, the attorney markup. And last time, we discussed this. I had a PDF only. I'm assuming everybody has read this. Everybody's happy with the changes. Yes, no, maybe so.
John, I'm in favor of approving these bylaws, with the exception of infilling a couple of items that were left open or were items of clarification.
Okay.
And
I don't have mine.
there's 3 items I think we need to fill in here in order to adopt these bylaws. First is under membership, which it alludes to how members are appointed, but has a trailing in accordance with. So I don't know if you can bring this up on the screen.
Sorry, I thought I put the new sheriff. Give me 30 seconds.
I'm just seeing the house there.
Boundary.
So it states both regular and alternate members of the commission shall be appointed by the ... Board of Selectmen in accordance with ... And so I think we just need to state that it's in accordance with the town statutes.
There we go. Jeez.
I believe that that's where the method of appointment is defined.
So, yeah, so it doesn't, off to the side here, of course, everybody's in my way, so give me 30 seconds. All you guys. In accordance with, and it looks like Richard Roberts says the ordinance in section 8, unless there is a newer document that covers this. So I think that little ... is to stick the ordinance in section 8 in there. You see what I got highlighted here?
Yep.
So that's, if that's the change, I would agree.
And I just ask, is that correct?
Ordinance section, sorry.
Ordinance in section 8.
Can I get the ordinances? Section 8.
Should it include that it also has to be approved by town meeting?
That's a good point.
Because it's appointed by the Board of Selectmen and then a town meeting is held, required.
For ratification.
Yep.
The ordinance in section 8, unless there is a newer document that covers this. The ordinance in section 8.
Is it sufficient to say that shall be appointed in accordance with the town ordinance? And leave it as just reference the document. And that way, if the ordinance changes, our bylaws don't have to change.
I would agree with that. That's probably an easier way to do that. So just say in accordance with
Existing?
The existing ordinances.
And again, these are bylaws. This governs how we function,
Right.
and not how we're appointed. So this is more for information than it is for action. So I think if we leave it vague, this serves our purpose.
I agree.
So the other item that I saw as being kind of an open question was as to whether we wanted to have a treasurer. And my recommendation would be that we not have a treasurer. And that perhaps we look at the secretary fulfilling that responsibility and have a secretary treasurer. unless there is interest in having an additional, officer of the commission. But it seems like it might be beneficial with a small commission to consolidate those functions.
Yeah, I don't know what the treasurer would do. We don't have any funds.
Who's spending
Well,
them?
Yeah, I think that we began to go down the path of saying we should keep track of our funds and we should be keeping track of our budget. Case in point is we want to undertake the update of the POCD, and we don't have a line item in our budget to do so. So we should be asking for that, and we should be tracking the expenditures toward, these specific objectives. So I don't think it's a huge task, but it is a bookkeeping and reporting task, which I think it might be appropriate to the secretary.
Yes,
I could agree, but I mean, it's always nice too, even if it's, let's say like myself, who's terrible at the budget meetings, and can always pawn that off on somebody else. So I like that.
Right. It allows you to delegate some responsibility to go get the money.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. So no treasurer.
I'll give you the $5 back, Tony.
All right. I'm keeping tabs on you. Anybody have any other comments? If not, I believe the motion Alan made, if I'm correct, is to make a change to Article 2 membership 2.1, third paragraph, to state both regular and alternate members of the commission shall be appointed by the Board of Selectmen in accordance with the existing ordinances,
Yes.
and to remove treasurer. Anybody?
If we remove treasurer, we may have to stipulate that the secretary fulfills the responsibility of the treasurer. Because we do define that the responsibility of the secretary. And I know I jotted something down here, but I can't read it now.
So just, we'll make that note that the treasurer role will be filled by the secretary. Under section 3.1.
Yep,
Treasurer role.
under it'd be under 3.4.
There you go. 3.4.
Secretary.
All right.
And with that, that is my motion.
Looking for a second.
Second.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Yep.
How about you, Bruce?
Yes.
All right. Jonathan, Ellen, Stan? Oh, we lose him?
Yes, I'm sorry, I was on mute.
No worries.
Yes.
Marion?
Yes, although I had a couple of other comments,
Oh,
so.
I'm sorry. I was so excited about getting these done. Fire away. You're gonna amend the motion.
I'm sorry.
No,
I was just kind of listening along.
Tony, you're such an innocent.
Under terms of office, 3.5, it calls for an annual organizational meeting and the second regular meeting in October. I don't think have one.
We have traditionally held our elections in December
That's why I.
at a regular meeting. What does it say?
It's one of the questions by Richard Roberts. How does this work if the terms all begin in December? Most of their elections to the start of new terms of the commission members. So I think he wanted to change to December also.
Yes, December is for most commissions.
Yeah. Okay,
So should be held at the December meeting.
the regular December meeting, which is. Okay. You said you had a couple of them, huh?
That was one that I noted. I'm just trying to think, because there's yellow and there's blue. I think that was it. I did have a question on 2.1.
Okay.
Obviously, a member of the zoning commission can't be a member of the zoning board of appeals, and can't hold any salaried office within town.
My favorite language.
Okay.
So I don't know if Jonathan, if you retired or not, but
I am retired.
okay.
However, I still
Don't
work
ask
for
for
the
another
town.
job, I guess.
I'm going to back up a second because this has come up at meetings before. We have an opinion from the attorney that goes in Jonathan's favor about being salaried versus, oh God. Basically, if you just get a regular pay and you show up, 30 hours, 20 hours, I forget what the term is, but basically Jonathan was safe according to the attorney.
It was the interpretation of the word salaried office.
Right. So anyway, this is directly from the ordinance.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
The ordinance actually states.
Okay, all right. I didn't realize it was part of the ordinance. That was my question.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw out an amendment to the motion that all the comments by Richard Roberts be integrated into this document with our approval, if that's all right with you guys.
So that would be his footnotes.
Yeah, all his little notes there. Right where he said, there was like 4 of them that I saw, and now I don't see any of them. Right where he says, so here's one, resignation of members. And he says, shall become effective at the commission meeting following the receipt of the town clerk. And he said it should probably be effective when received by the town clerk. We good with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
How would you
Yes.
want to incorporate these, Tony, as footnotes?
I mean, that's what these are, footnotes or comments. This is the comment section here. So comments,
But wouldn't you just make them part of the document?
that's what I was trying to
Yeah.
say.
And there'd be an approval date, however we approve these, so it'd be approved May 19th. And then if it's revised, then you'd also have the revision date, so you could keep track of which ones you were looking at.
I'm just keep piling this on here. So we need an effective date too. These become effective immediately. They become effective next meeting to give time to change the document. So who made the motion? I'm gonna throw out what I think it should be, but to
Yep.
approve, accept, and approve the Deep River Planning and Zoning Commission bylaws with the footnotes by Richard P. Roberts, the change in section, of course, I'll scroll right by it. Section 2.1, third paragraph, to state in accordance with existing ordinances, and the change in section 3.4 for the treasurer role to be filled by the secretary.
Tony, you want to address November or October versus December also, don't you?
Yep, and I'm scrolling down to that because that was Marion's comment and it was under.
Was there a reason that that change was put in these bylaws? Was there a reason to go to elections in November versus December? To
Well, yeah,
facilitate a changeover of officers? Or, I mean, we're writing our bylaws, I mean, maybe it does make sense to move that date as opposed to just falling back on how we've always done it. Because when you've got elections in December,
I think you,
you potentially have no transition time between the new officers and the old officers being on the commission.
well,
Yeah, if
if all goes well, the selectmen make their appointments in November for everybody. That's the way it's supposed to be. So it makes sense to wait until the appointments have been made, until we have our elections, right?
All right, so let's, this
Some
is,
of the appointments might be determined upon people that might be resigning, whatnot, or retiring.
so maybe this should be an annual organizational meeting shall be held at the regular meeting in January, because then all the new members will be in place.
Ah,
How does that sound?
you're a smart guy.
Tonight, we'll see what happens tomorrow.
So again, I mean, to my point, Tony, is that doesn't allow any, if you've got a officer
Mhm.
who is leaving the commission.
Yep.
There's no overlap between the new chairman and the outgoing chairman.
Give me,
So in other words, in other organizations I've been involved in, it's usually the past chairman is staying on so that you have that transition. So if you're the new chairman.
Yep.
And the old chairman is off the commission.
Mhm.
And you're stepping in and there is no backup. You don't have the prior chairman for any period of time on that commission potentially to, lend their experience.
I believe,
So a lot of times you do have the election of officers prior to the previous officers leaving the commission. And so and the election of the officers is from the commission who has had experience with those other commissioners, as opposed to somebody coming onto the commission who hasn't had any experience with the commission or the commissioners, the candidates for officers. So
How about having elections at the next regular meeting following the Board of Selectmen appointments? Does that make it easier? No.
that would be the December meeting, correct?
I'm getting confused here. Are we talking about putting people onto the commission or even moving people up as alternates to seated members of the commission? Is that what we're talking about?
I think we're
We're
talking
talking
about election of officers, aren't we?
Officers, okay.
Corporate officers, yes.
In
Because-
general, though, usually if you're going to nominate somebody for an officer, they've been on the board for a while. So they generally know how things are run. I mean, whenever you're having to run a meeting from the first time, it's always nerve-wracking. And that's something you kind of grow into. But you usually know the procedure. So I don't think it's really a major deal if the former president or chairman of the meeting, I mean, all right, Bruce was the former chair. He's part of the commission. So I guess there's contingency there, and generally there is, but we're not that complicated, I don't think.
I'm gonna throw something. I think the one above it actually covers this. The officers shall be elected to serve for 1 year or until the successors are elected,
Right.
and their term of office shall begin at the close of the meeting at which they were elected. So the way it used to be, and that was one of my sticking points, is the way it used to be done is you'd have the meeting December, and whoever was elected took over immediately, you know, which I didn't think was fair. So I think this gives you some leeway. So,
That's good.
yeah, so, you know, Jonathan's the next guy to chair the commission. He's not taking over mid-meeting. He'll have a, you know, month to prepare for that meeting. So I think that kind of covers that, if that helps. If that's what you're shooting at, Alan.
Yeah, I think it's important to have that transition.
Yeah. So I think that first one covers that.
Okay.
All right.
Roger.
So we're
So
gonna,
are we going back to January or December?
I would say January, just so it's after, you know, new people are on board.
It's a whole new year.
Right. So 3.5 B would be meeting in January. All right, how's that sound?
I'm just looking at that letter C there.
Mm-hmm.
6 out of 10 members of the commission are a majority, so that means that the alternates are included?
Correct.
Okay. I like that.
All right. All right, we're going back to that motion. To,
There's one other question, not
Okay.
too farther down, I'm sorry. It's the last paragraph under 4.1 on that page. Wait a minute, go back. It's every regular meeting of the commission will include an audience of citizens at the beginning, question mark, or end.
I would just say include an audience of citizens and that's it.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
That is 4.1, third paragraph. Just audience of citizens.
See, I read these.
I did too, but I also wrote 100 other things today.
Shake the jar.
I've got Charlotte area.
Okay.
All right.
Also, under 4.7,
Mhm.
it says no business, new business submitted for any action by the commission, blah, blah, unless it's at least 7 days prior to a regular meeting date. I just wonder if that's a little too restrictive. Especially with the word shall, usually that kind of puts, I mean, if you said may, then there's a little bit more leeway.
Okay.
I like that cutoff to our meeting.
10 p.m.
Well, I mean, I'd move it earlier personally, but I'm not a night owl, but it's good to know it's there as a safety net. I agree though on the 7 days. I mean, I think that's a little long.
It was something. was it? Oh, when you were talking about professional staff,
Mhm.
do we include the recording secretary?
That's a good question.
Jonathan, I think that's included in the line where it indicates staff as designated by the first selectman, or
Okay,
I think it's inclusive of any town staff that the selectmen deem is available to us.
roger that.
I forget the exact language, but I think that's covered.
All right, how about, I mean, are you guys good with this, or do you want another month to go over it?
I'd like to see a cleaned up copy come out, then
Okay.
vote on it.
Okay,
So I'll rescind my motion to adopt this.
okay. I feel like I got a list of 5 things now, and I think that's
Yeah.
I think
Bruce,
that's,
I think that makes sense. There's been a lot of questions, especially in regard to some of the comments in the margin, which
Yeah.
some of them may in fact be appropriate as footnotes, and some of them are explanatory to the edits. So
okay. All right, so we're gonna bump this till it's cleaned up to next month. I like that. All right. Moving on. Informal discussion, adult use cannabis regulation. And John,
So, yeah, this is just a carryover from last meeting. I don't know if we were gonna have sort of a multi-commission discussion about this or not, but nothing new has happened.
okay, EDC is aware of it. They're gonna put it on their questionnaire. But I'm gonna bring it up at the next joint meeting again too, so, which is next month. Plan of conservation development, we have the memo that was gonna go out, if everybody was aware of that.
So if the I think we responded to the comments from the folks that were at the meeting, Tony, Marion, Alan. If there are no other, edits, we can get those distributed.
All right, was everybody, had a chance to glance at this? Any comments?
So John, the memorandum was dated May 12th. So that was a May 12th, that was a draft and has
Yeah.
not been distributed. Yeah.
Right, we'll update it and everything.
Yep.
You guys are good with that? We'll fire that out. Reports, ZEO.
So you'll note we had a very full agenda this month. Mike and I had a lot of conversations with the different applicants, getting them ready for that. And just general permit activity coming in. We are moving forward on the STEEP grant, getting quotes on GIS, getting quotes on computer systems, getting quotes on electronic signboards. So hopefully, moving forward on upgrading the town's technology. I think we could have GIS stuff happening probably within the next couple of months, which is great. Other than that, I'm happy to answer questions, but it's been, steady as she goes and a lot of special permit activity.
I have one question, and I won't bother you too much. Just the delay of demolition ordinance, that went to the selectmen? Have they talked about it? Has it come up?
I don't know if they talked about it recently, but it would have to go to town meeting. I don't think they've taken it up as a potential change.
Okay.
We can remind Angus about it next week.
Okay. Anybody else questions for John? If not, I don't see anything from the attorney, unless Nancy's hiding something. Engineer,
I have nothing.
okay. Regs committee. I mean, we're gonna get to that because it's clearly people want multifamily.
No. Tony, just one other thing I would note, if I might, for legislative update, actually just this afternoon, about 6:30, just before the meeting came on, House Bill 6107, which is a zoning and housing bill, did pass the House. and will now go to the Senate. It was significantly revised, included, as of right, accessory dwelling units, but with a municipal opt-out provision. It included commissioner training. It included a reorganization of 8-2, the zoning enabling statute, and a few other provisions relative to zoning. So I would be happy to forward the revised version or the past version to the commission, but it just passed the House today and now goes to the Senate.
Yeah, I mean, would you, if you don't mind forwarding it, I'd like to take a look at it anyway.
Of course.
Thank you.
All right, I have to go.
Yep, run like the wind. Good luck. All right, Chairman, I got nothing. It's been busy, just to put it that way. And budget. I believe the town
Gail
budget just
said
passed.
one car left.
I'm sorry?
Sorry.
Nancy, if that was you, you're cutting in and out. Okay. Anyway, town budget passed. We have passed on to them about the need for money. They're aware that we're looking at our plan of conservation development. We went back and forth a little bit about, they wanted to push it out to 3 years. We were going to try and do it in 1.5 to 2 years. So we will have to send them a letter stating as such.
How much money are we asking for, Tony, for that?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I don't have it in front of me. I think we only asked them for, you know what? Let me see if I can find it. I don't want to guess.
And was it earmarked for specific use? Was it for staff time, or was it for consultants? Was it for Survey Monkey, or?
It was not pigeon-toed to anything. It was just for an overall redo of the plan of conservation and development.
So we can buy beer then?
Yeah, we can, especially when Jonathan gives me back that money. No?
Can I give you the report of the Highways and Byways Commission?
There you go.
West Elm Street, the bridge,
Yes.
June 10th.
You're gonna be done?
No, that's when they're gonna start, and it's gonna be the better, more than 2 months until it's done.
Oh,
So there will be an emergency way around that on Plains Road, but nobody's gonna know that except the fire department.
all right. On Plains Road, huh? I don't see it. My gut is it was $3,000. But I promise you, I will look it up and get that number to you, and I will email it.
Tonight?
Today or tomorrow, because I may have to harass John for it. So that's the budget part of this. That's all I have. Payment of bills. Nancy, you hiding any bills? I'm assuming none with the silence. And with that, looking for a motion to adjourn.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute.
Okay. Do you have bills that you need us?
No.
All right, and then I have a commission question. I was gonna ask for an adjournment, but I have a commission question. We are out of COVID now, and I would like your guys' opinion on how to proceed. Because everybody loves Zoom. Is this easier for you? Because we can proceed in a like half and half. I mean, I can go to the town hall with my laptop. We can all still Zoom. And I can sit there and address anybody who comes in, if that's the way you guys would like to keep going with this.
The auditorium is set up with lots of distancing.
Yep, that's why I'm throwing it out there. How does everybody feel? I don't mind the Zoom. I actually like it. I think it gives better presentations. You know, people.
Tony, personally, I think we should be moving towards the hybrid for a couple of reasons. One is that with John and Mike pursuing technology to facilitate meetings, it's going to lead to better presentation and better communication of materials But I think most importantly, the hybrid function, the Zoom function allows a broader participation of the public. And it's one thing we've learned through COVID is how to do these meetings. Nothing replaces the personal exchange, especially with an applicant. I think there's a comfort level to having the meetings in person. But I think there's a lot of value in the Zoom. So to the extent that we can move towards a hybrid, I'd love to be meeting in person, but I love the fact that more people are able to participate with Zoom. So,
Okay, well, like I said, I will keep this scheduled with Zoom. I will definitely be at the town hall at the next meeting. So you guys can show up, you can stay on Zoom, it's your option, but I just want to make sure, everybody was aware of how that was going to play out. Just,
Thank you for that, Tony.
yeah.
Thanks, Tony.
I'm glad everybody enjoys Zooming just as much as I do.
I'm done Zooming. I would come in person because I Zoom most of the day. I'm tired of it. Can't handle it.
Okay.
I was going to say, even though it's very convenient,
Yes.
I think there's something about a commission meeting all at once at the table with the applicant versus trying to figure out who's saying what and, looking at a picture. That's just my feeling.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to see a couple of you there then. All right, with that, unless you guys want to stay, looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Fantastic. I'm just gonna, everybody in favor?
yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Everybody have a good night. And I will
Thank
see
you,
you. next
everyone.
month.
Good job, Tony.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, folks.
Night, everyone.
Leave.